than like dairy-free and spinach. Scattered Monkey from Sydney, nice to see you. All right, 6 o'clock. We'll go ahead and get started. Thank you so much for joining me. It's been great to talk to you a little bit in the comments. Today we're going to be cooking again, so I'm going to get my chicken thighs going in the oven. This is from the first day, I think, dinner in the meal plan. And it's right in just meat and salt. So I thought I would start with a very basic recipe. Someone said they didn't know how to cook chicken thighs. They're cheap, they're dark meat, they're like 200 to 300 calories a piece. Which when you're on carnivore, calories are generally a good thing. So this is just a trashy thing, but you want to have the sides on it so that the juices are contained. And I have my oven preheated to 375, and I'm just gonna use parchment paper. I'm gonna take it away because it's loud. So I just do this because I don't like the quality of the pan. I don't want to cook in nonstick, but also I don't want to clean it up either. So we're just gonna put our chicken thighs on this with the skin side up. And this is a super cheap, honestly, if money's an issue, chicken thighs are super cheap recipe. The dog is over here because I haven't fed her yet, and I feed her, start over there so you guys can see. I feed her chicken, bone-in chicken. So this is bone-in chicken. If you're doing boneless and it has the skin on it, and this is gonna turn, like I tell my kids, it's like potato chips made out of meat. So that's gonna turn nice and crispy. And I'll show you after I get them all on how tightly they are together. So who cooks chicken thighs? Who's doing meat and salt? Or are you guys all doing dairy, or most of you doing dairy? Julie, I'm not sure why you're not seeing me. Everyone else can see me, right? Hi from Canada. Nice to see you. Dairy, yes. All right. There's my hands. Okay, so here's my chicken on there. So you want it kind of like, it can be touching, but you don't want it super overlapping. And I'm just gonna pretty much cover it with salt. This is white salt. I linked down in the description to better salt for you guys. This is just what I have in the kitchen. We're in Ryan's house right now, and my salt is packed. So you just cover it pretty liberally. I'll go down there so you can see better. Then we're just gonna pop it in the oven. So I'll do that. And you see how easy that is? That's like my favorite, super easy. I don't want to cook meal, and everybody likes it. And they're like, for chicken, it's pretty high in calories, which is a good thing. So Sasha's down here, and I thought I'd show you my carnivore dog. Because a lot of you guys, after I posted the cat video, here's Sasha. Come over here. So she just eats bone-in chicken most of the time. She also gets game. And that's as easy as it is. Sorry, I'm all over the place trying to do this while I'm cooking. Yeah, she's a Ruddy. I love her. But she normally eats outside, but it's raining, so I can't bring you outside. And I thought I'd see, like, that's how easy it is to feed dogs raw, is you just get some bone-in chicken. And yeah, definitely not cooked. And I just mix it kind of up. And so dogs are scavengers. Like, cats seem a little more finicky about what they eat, but dogs are scavengers. And like, she eats kind of whatever. If it's cheap, what I'm making us for dinner, then I just give her some of those scraps. Or if I need, like, kids mix stuff all into their plates and it's not good to save for leftovers, she gets that. And then she gets a lot of just cheap chicken from Costco. No problems with chicken bones. Yeah, that's only if the chicken bones are cooked, so they splinter. How often does she eat? She eats once a day. There's some people that feed raw, and kind of the more, I don't know, authentic way to do it is feast or famine. And so they feed their dogs like a whole chicken once a week or once every few days, depending on the size. Hillary, you're feeding raw too. That's awesome. This is Ryan's dog, and so she hasn't been mine. Now she's mine-ish. But she's gotten so soft, and I think her energy is good. And I don't know. I'm very happy. She definitely goes and eats cat poop every chance she gets, which is gross. But hi, Roxy. Nice to see you. So we have our chicken thighs in the oven, and I'll bring those out in 35 minutes. And you can see how the skin gets nice and crispy. It's like delicious, and they're just baked, which I don't mind frying because I don't think it's bad for me, but I do mind that it makes a mess. Jeff, you have a pit. You wouldn't even eat like scraps? Man, picky dog. So while we're doing this, I'm also going to make mozzarella pepperoni bites, and these are on Tuesday in the meat, dairy, and eggs section of the meal plan. So if you're doing meat, dairy, and eggs, these are on Tuesday. And I'm just going to make these while we are talking about weight loss. Do I fry in oil? No, I fry in tallow. What kind of question is that? I save all my bacon grease and all my drippings and stuff, and that's what I'll fry in. Why do dogs with cat poop? I don't know, grossest thing ever, right? So for the mozzarella pepperoni bites, I have this mozzarella, and then I have this. I was hoping to find like the normal size pepperoni, but they didn't have it at the store. So I'm just going to cut these into quarters, and I'll show you how I do these. These are really good. Everybody likes these, and these are a great thing. We'll talk later about packing food. So whether you're going away for a weekend or a few days, like how to eat on the road, these last a long time. I put them in lunch boxes, and all my kids like them in their lunchbox, and I like them to have them in their lunchbox. So my cheese got warm. It's sticking to the package. So for weight loss, that's the first thing we want to talk about. So who's doing this for weight loss? Or if you don't want to say that, like who's not doing this for weight loss? That might be an easier thing for people to answer. Because a lot of people, like, gaining weight is sort of something that comes when you're not eating a nutrient-dense diet, and most of us weren't raised on a nutrient-dense diet. So type 2 diabetic. That's Uncle Duke. Can I call you Uncle Duke? You put it as your screen name. Hillary's not doing it. Hillary, you're doing this for mental health like me, right? A lot of people find carnivore when keto stalls. Anti-inflammatory. Yeah, that definitely makes sense. Mental health and weight loss. I'll show you. I'm just grating this cheese down here. Last time I used prepackaged cheese, so I thought I'd just grate the cheese this time. And it makes a prettier finished product anyway. Rheumatoid arthritis. So many things. Like, it kind of makes sense though. Like, I don't ever want to say something's a cure-all, but this is such a nutrient, so high in nutrients and so low in stuff that bothers people that it makes sense that this can be done for so many different things. Weight loss, mental health, anti-inflammatory, mental health, anti-inflammatory, good general health, gut health, anti-inflammatory. We're going to talk about that more next time. I used to, like, up until like a year ago, I was, I don't think everything's caused by inflammation. I thought it was like a buzzword, but no, actually, like, everything is caused by inflammation. Well, not everything, but it's a huge player in lots and lots of things. So when you're doing carnivore, especially women, because our cycles are, even if you're not cycling, like you don't get a period, our hormones still will follow something like that. And so it can be frustrating that if you've done carnivore like for 8 days, like for those of you that started on September 1st, if you saw maybe a couple pounds of loss in the first couple days, then you haven't seen anything. What the body does is it goes in whooshes. And so you'll use the energy from your fat cell, and then your body will fill that with water. And so that's why you, like, water and fat weigh the same, or they weigh similar, I guess, when they're in the same volume. Water might even weigh more than fat in the same volume. And I'm kind of grasping here at my science, but so the cells fill with water, and then, like, you'll end up either having a hormone change, or you'll get really dehydrated, or, like, some people will do a fast to stimulate weight loss of a couple pounds, which you're not burning. Like, if I do a fast, I'm losing about half a pound of fat a day for water fasting. Like, I just don't burn that many calories fasting. but it will stimulate all of those cells to release their water. And so that's something where if you saw weight loss at first and then you aren't for like a week or 10 days or something, try not to get frustrated, because it probably just means that you're just filling those fat cells with water. And then those will all release at once and you'll see like a drop of 4 or 5 pounds. And you definitely did not lose 4 or 5 pounds overnight, like of fat. That's just not something that people do. Water's more dense than fat. Yeah, I was thinking that. Sorry. How long's your stall? So they say, the big they that's on, like, all the people that talk about weight loss and stuff and have experienced weight loss, they say a stall is more than 2 weeks, I'm pretty sure. Like if you don't lose any pounds in more than 2 weeks, it might be time to mix some stuff up. That's why I knew that water was more dense than fat. I just forgot. You fast for autophagy? I fast because it makes me appreciate my food more again. So it comes in starts and stops. The fat cells will fill with water and then whoosh out. You can encourage that whoosh, that water weight. Like if you have something to go to that, like this weekend or next weekend, I guess, and you want to like just lose a couple pounds, like maybe to boost morale or something, you can do a fast and that will usually get stuff to go. And you can do like a water fast, you can do a fat fast, like just anything to kind of switch up your metabolism and see if you can get your body to let go of that water weight and move on with life. Wait, that chicken. Then that's something else that you can do. Check inches lost. That's true. I don't even have a scale here. We're in this house just for a couple months and I didn't pack the scale because I don't care that much, but my jeans are getting looser because I've been doing strict carnivore again with this challenge with you. Do I cook with avocado oil? No, I don't. I cook with tallow. I save my bacon grease and cook with that, or butter. Yeah, no scale, but I'm not doing this for weight loss either. But I can tell pretty easily, like I know how much I'm eating. And I know if I'm gaining, it's because I'm not eating carnivore. Because honestly, I'm not eating that much meat. I'm just not that interested in eating that much meat. Yeah, Tina. So dairy can cause an inflammatory response. And so that just is kind of putting your body, and we'll talk more about inflammation in the next video. But ghee is great to use also. But inflammatory response and just like having that allergy, like my face will all puff up and I do retain water when I eat dairy. And it's just something that happens for people, you know. So giving up dairy, and plus it's easy to overeat dairy, to be honest. So I'm going to take you down here and show you. These are the mozzarella pepperoni. And if you have the little circle pepperoni, you can use that. You can see I cut my big pepperoni from Applegate into quarters. And then putting them on parchment again. Just like the chicken that's already in the oven. And if you guys are just joining me, these are from the meal plan. So you just take like a pinch of mozzarella. This is freshly shredded mozzarella. And these do spread, so you kind of want to give them some breathing room. Yeah, eating more is another way to switch things up a bit. I do kind of have, I'm not sure. I guess it's because I've never had this experience, but people that say you need to eat like 4 or 5 pounds of meat a day to lose weight, I have a hard time thinking you really need to eat that much. That's just really a lot of meat. But definitely, like if you're chronically under calories, then have a few like feast days and then maybe do a fast again. So this is what we're going to do for our mozzarella pepperoni bites. And these are like my kids' favorite things to have in lunches. So they're good cold or room temperature. I'm going to go stick them in the oven. And we just bake these, I think, 15 minutes. Oops, let me move that around. There. So if you're still hungry after you're eating, like a pound of beef is a lot. I cooked up a pound of ground beef the other day, and I ate that for all 3 of my meals. If you're still hungry after eating a pound of beef, and I'm not like super hungry right now, so it's not like I could eat 2 pounds of beef and think it's fine. Collagen in your coffee first thing in the morning, that sounds good. But anyway, so if you cook up a pound of meat and you're still hungry, I would try digestive enzymes, because to me that's saying your body's not digesting stuff right. And so I linked down below to the different digestive enzymes that can do different things, and you can just kind of check your symptoms and see why you think you might not be digesting that food that well. And another thing that you're going to want to notice is, like, if you're going to the bathroom a lot on Carnivore, you shouldn't be. Like, a lot of us go every 3 to 4 days. If you're going every day still and it's quite a bit of volume, that means you're not digesting your food. So even if it's a good consistency and it doesn't hurt, I would just kind of watch and think maybe there's something going on with your digestion where digestive enzymes or ox bile or something else can help you digest your food better. Jeff says he has a 3,000 calorie meal, and that's all he'll eat. Yeah, you're doing one meal a day. I like, that's my goal, just because it'd make my life so much. It'd make my life so much simpler. So I'm trying to read comments and answer at the same time, but I still am eating like 2 or 3 times a day. Bone broth. That reminds me, that's why I had this out, as we were going to do that too, because lots of somebodies have asked me where to buy bone broth. And that's fine. You can buy it. Kettle and Fire is good. US Wellness Meats are good. They have a good bone broth, and I have no problem with you doing that. But literally, if you can boil water, then you can make bone broth. So is there chicken? So to do that, you just use bone-in chicken, or you can use like beef marrow bones. Beef marrow bones are good. I'm just doing one because I'm making a small batch, because that's all that's going to fit in my fridge right now. And so either use a stock pot, or you can use the Instant Pot. Isn't it going on? There it goes. And so I'm just going to do saute high, and we're just going to brown that chicken for a little bit, and then you just add water. Like, seriously, if you can boil water, you can make chicken broth. And this is a really good I'll finish beeping. It's a really good source of protein. And so, like, if you eat tendons and stuff, it does have the collagen and stuff in it that you need to make your own tendons and stuff repair. So people that have joint issues a lot of times will want to take extra collagen and include a lot of the more tough meats in their diet. But if it's going right through you, if you're not digesting it, then it's really not going to do any good for you. You're not absorbing it. So this is a great way to take, like, the gristle and anything that's tough and chewy, boil it in water, and it'll take out those amino acids, and your body will stick them right back together to make your own tendons. Jarrow Beyond Broth, or Bone Broth, Beyond Bone Broth. I think I'm skeptical of anything that has Beyond in the name right now. I haven't looked into that one. If it's just meat and water and salt, and also if it has like at least 9 grams of protein per cup. So a lot of what you see in the store might be just meat and water and salt, but it has like 2 or 3 grams of protein per cup. That's just like beef flavored water. There's really not a whole lot in there. Chicken feet and bone broth is amazing. It is. I haven't done it before. I've had bone broth made with chicken feet. I have not done it. It's powder. I'd be cautious about that, kind of in the same way that I'll use collagen powder. I would rather you do your own broth than use collagen powder. Chicken necks are great for broth. They have like all those little bones are connected with connective tissue. And so the connective tissue is what you really want to boil. So we're just doing this for color and a little bit of flavor. You don't have to saute. This is just using the saute function with the fat down to, you don't have to do that to make broth if you don't want to. You can just boil chicken stock, or you can just boil chicken in water. What's a good yogurt brand? I'd recommend making your own out of half and half or heavy cream if you can, but I'll buy Nancy's sometimes. or I think it's brown cow, anything that you can find that's full fat. So you want to make sure there's like at least 7 grams of fat per serving in there. But yogurt is good too. So that's making a lot of noise. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to fill it with water. And then next we're talking about what happens if you're struggling on carnivore. So if you want to leave any notes down below of if you're struggling and what you've done to help that, like whether it's low energy or muscle pain, and especially if you are like, I had low energy and then I took salt and then I was fine. If any of you guys are low energy right now, while I'm filling this pot with water, go take a 1/4 teaspoon of sea salt, just like fill up a little part of your hand with salt, put it in your mouth, and then drink a big glass of water and come back in like 30 seconds. And then you're going to feel better in 10 minutes. So that's literally all I do. Is now that has that one thing of chicken, which I normally put 2 in, and now it's half full of water, and I normally fill it up to the fill line. And so I'm just going to cook that under pressure, or you can put the lid on and simmer it for like 4 hours. That's all you have to do to make bone broth. So we're just going to cook it under pressure. And it's set at 42, and I'll just do that so that I'm not beeping through all the buttons for you. Can you eat the bone once it's done cooking? You can. So if I do this with fish, like a 12-hour cook time is long enough for the bones to be soft. With chicken, it takes a few times, but it will get soft enough that you can kind of crumble it. And so a lot of times the ends will be crumbly, and you can do that and you can scoop out some of the marrow. So just crumble that into whatever you're eating. Julie uses sheep yogurt. That solves the A1, A2 issue. And we do cover that in the dairy section of this book, which is linked down below. We talk a little bit about the A1, A2. You get sick after eating the bones. I'm not sure that's it's phosphorus and calcium in there. I'm not sure everyone needs quite that much. They do go chalky. They definitely do. When I first started doing this, I first started doing almost like high meat, no dairy, no grains. I did the GAPS diet for my daughter when she was 3, which was in 2009. And so people were really concerned she wasn't getting enough calcium. So I did crumble those bones into her food. I'm like, she eats bone. So I don't worry about that anymore. And my kids are all growing just fine. Roxy said she had low energy and she's feeling better today and went for a walk. That's great. Did you start carnivore on the 1st with us? Lerna, your husband says he feels funky. I understand that. Was he in keto prior to doing carnivore? And then also you're going to want to drink a big glass of water with that salt. So if you just take salt and like a sip of water to swallow it, that's not going to work. You need to because the salt's pulling water into your system. So you need to give it water to pull. On a budget, grass-fed beef versus corn-fed beef is a difference in omega-3. So what about corn-fed with omega-3 supplement? So first of all, grass-fed beef is grass-fed and then grass-finished. All beef is grass-fed and then some of it's corn-finished. And so, yeah, it is higher in omega-3s, but you can just eat some fish too. I probably wouldn't supplement. I mean, you can supplement it if you want, but you're going to need so much. You could even buy, if you want to buy cheaper beef, and then this is cod liver oil, and this is going to be high in omega-3s. And so these are cod livers in the oil. And so you'll drain off the oil, and that's pretty much an omega-3 supplement. Yeah, more salt if you're not feeling good. That's pretty much the go-to. Do I take cod liver oil? I do, and I give it to my kids. And what's weird is my kids, until they were 4, they craved cod liver oil. They'd see that I give it to them in a little syringe, like how you give ibuprofen or something to an infant. I give it to them like that, and they would cheer for cod liver oil. Safe to do. Is that safe to do with eggshells? Yeah, so the salmonella is gonna be on the outside of the eggshell. If you're gonna, like, grind up your eggshells in a mortar and pestle, which is what I do for the cat, because the cat's on a low phosphorus diet, um, then you just bake the eggshells first, and that'll kill it all. So I just pop them in the oven, usually when I have something else in the oven, in, like, I'll line a little bowl with parchment and bake them for, I don't know, 15 minutes. Oh yeah. So if he feels funky, it's because he's not fat adapted. And so pretty much anyone that goes from the standard American diet or a carb heavy diet, even if it's like paleo, is going to have a hard time for the first 6 weeks on carnivore. So you're going to want to do like a meat heavy keto for 6 weeks. And so if he wants to do meat heavy keto, because I think you guys are doing this together, I think that was super cute if you're the couple that I'm thinking of. Then if he just wants to add in some like coconut oil and few keto treats like fat bombs and a few nuts and do a meat heavy keto for 6 weeks, he'll probably feel a lot better. It's like a lot for your system to take out everything bad all at once. And so transitioning onto ketosis and then going to carnivore from that is usually recommended. Great source of potassium. I use the no salt, but I haven't needed it on carnivore. So if you feel like you need potassium, like if salt's not doing it for you and you want to try potassium, I would use the low salt or the no salt that you can find, like our Walmart has it. Barbara, how long have you been doing carnivore? If you just jumped in, you missed our thing about weight loss and how it comes and starts and stops. So your fat cells will empty of fat and then they will fill back up with water. And then your body's kind of got to decide like, oh, I don't need this to hang on to this fat cell being open anymore. And so it'll whoosh all the water out. So if you're getting that like 5 times a night, you know that you're going to see a difference in the scale that morning. Is B5 and potassium? Yeah, I'm not so good with the micronutrients. Potassium is something that I go just based on symptoms. So if salt's not doing it for me and I feel like I need something salt-like, then I'll do the potassium chloride. Carnivore for 7 weeks, but trouble getting off antidepressants and caffeine. The caffeine, I don't have it here. So DLPA, I have a book or I have a video on quitting coffee. The supplement, it's an amino acid supplement, DLPA. Then amino acids are also awesome for depression. So I think it's called the Mood Cure, and I'll try and leave that link down below when I'm done. So adding specific amino acids, I use GABA. And depression is something like people say, you're the happiest depressed person I've ever seen, but depression is something that I have a problem with too. And so if you use specific amino acids, some people like 5-HTP, that one does nothing for me. GABA and I are like, we're tight. DLPA is perfect for getting off coffee or beating addictions. So using amino acid supplementation can go really well with carnivore diet. Yeah, if you've just been doing carnivore since the first, that's just not quite enough time. Like your body is used to it's just holding those cells open with water. And so it's like you've lost the fat. Like definitely if you've cut the calories, you've lost the fat, but it's holding those open. And you can try switching it up a bit, like doing a fast or doing a refeeding, like a feast and then a fast, or a fast and then a feast, where you eat more than your normal calories one day and then you don't eat for 24 hours and then you eat again. Sleeping like a rock, that sounds like your body's in repair mode, which is good. Sometimes our body just kind of has to repair itself before it can release that weight and just like stop freaking out and holding on to everything. Theanine, that's another amino acid. Definitely. There's a lot of different ones and they're cheap. The bottle of supplements, like $10. It's really nice that you can go try them and it's not super expensive. You're welcome. I'm happy to answer your questions. Does giving up caffeine? Yes, especially if you have anxiety. And it helps me sleep a ton, even though I was limiting it to like just in the morning, and I get up at 4 a.m, so it's really early. Not having any caffeine at all definitely helps my body just like do the systems that it's supposed to do. Depression and stress kills? Yes, it does. Fasting 1 day a week. Probably. Yeah, I tend to my body likes to fast when I'm above a certain weight. And so if I eat a lot, like fasting's super easy for me and I'll fast like I was fasting every Saturday when I wanted to lose a few pounds. And then once I get to like a certain weight for me, my body doesn't like to fast anymore and I'm just too cranky to fast. The weight stalls. This will be on a recording too, but so if your weight, especially for women, like there's entire weeks at a time, women, even if you're not bleeding, but sorry, man, like I just have to talk about this. I don't know how not to. So even if you're not bleeding, like you're menopause or you have PCOS and you haven't had a cycle, your hormones will still cycle. And so it might not be every 28 days. It might be a different amount, but there's like going to be a couple solid weeks that your body's just like, nope, I'm busy doing something else. I'm not releasing that weight. And so it's not uncommon for women to stall for 2 weeks and then lose like 4 pounds at once for an average of 1 pound a week, that's a really, I mean, unless you have a lot to lose, 1 pound a week is quite a bit. Let's see. I'm going to scroll up. See if I miss any, and then we'll just keep going. All right, so if you're struggling, and I was thinking about this today because I listened to podcasts a lot, and I was listening to one that was about business, and it kind of got me thinking. It's like, you know how when you got your first job, and comment what your first job that you loved was. Like, did you work at a water park? I worked at a summer camp, and I worked in the kitchen, but we had so much fun. I'll start taking questions again after this little bit about what to do if you're struggling. So anyways, your first job, like you had so much fun, but like my first job, I think I made $3.75 an hour, like definitely not sustainable. And as a 36-year-old mother of 3, I probably would not find working at a summer camp and staying up late and getting up early and doing split shifts as fun. But as a 17-year-old, I thought that was the greatest thing ever. I absolutely loved my summer job, could not believe they were paying me for it. And that's kind of how food is. So it's kind of, if you chose to go work at a summer camp and make minimum wage your whole life, then that's what your results would be. Like you would probably be living in on-camp housing and you would be driving an old beater car or using your bike to get around, and that's a totally valid choice. And the same thing goes with our eating. So when I was 17, and this didn't even work for me when I was 17, but I just ate junk. But it worked for me significantly better at 17 than it would now at 36. And so that's something that like a lot of us have chosen to advance in our careers and to develop ourselves and to work on ourselves and get education so that we can move up in our careers. Or even if we're like stay-at-home parents, you probably read stuff about being a better like home economist. And like running your household more efficiently. This is all stuff that we've done to better ourselves. And the same is going to be with food. So if we like do the same thing of working an entry level minimum wage job that was super fun when we were 17, when we're 36, it's not going to work. And food is the same thing. If we are living on candy bars and Diet Pepsi, just making that choice and realizing that it's like, I'm choosing to level up. I'm choosing to put in the effort to have a higher paying job. I'm choosing to put in the effort so that my work at home works better. I need to check my things. I forgot about those. Oh, they're burnt. I should have set a timer. Sorry. But at least I didn't fill the house with smoke. And so that's the way food is. A lot of us want to eat what we ate when we were 17 or what we ate growing up and expect it to make us feel good and vibrant and everything now. You're a lifeguard. You love that job. Like, seriously, I would have loved to be a lifeguard too. Like, so much fun. But like now, do I want to go be a lifeguard all summer? No. Scroll through and see what else you have. Worked at a lookout for a mountain camp. That sounds like a lot of fun. Deborah says she was health conscious. I think that's her. Not pitching. I'm gonna move this. It's making too much noise. You're in story time at your local library. Oh, that's fun. Paper route. Yeah, all of these are great entry-level jobs that totally worked for us then. But we had to put effort into our careers. And then the same way, we just got to put effort into what we eat. So it's changing habits and changing all of that. And so that's what I wanted to talk about with you is if you're struggling, like some struggle is kind of to be expected. So we got the salt thing, and usually you're going to feel better if you take salt, but still like no one's going to deny that ice cream and cookies and cake all taste good. And they even give you that little sugar rush. But overall, we really want to give the carnivore diet a fair chance to let our bodies adjust. And so in addition to the salt, if you can do the chicken stock that I just showed you how to make, that's like super nourishing. Even if you have like digestive troubles or you have joint problems, that's something that's going to make a big bang for your buck is chicken stock. And then if you still don't feel good and you're eating a lot of meat, go ahead and check down the link below for digestive supplements, because it might just be something that your body needs, like a little supplement to start digesting this food that's so good for it, and then it'll go into repair mode and heal itself. So those are the things that if you're struggling, I would recommend. Also not eating enough, as we were talking about that earlier, is I recommend 1 to 2 pounds a day of like red meat. Can be a little bit more if it's white meat, which speaking of, I need to go pull my chicken out. So if you guys were here in the beginning, these are our chicken thighs. They're super good. The skin is like crispy. It's like a potato chip, and they've got all that good salt on them. And you can drain the juices and use that to cook with too. But that's just a super easy and delicious, and it's just meat and salt meal. Beef salt. Might have said sea salt, or I might have said good salt. I'm not sure. Maybe I did say beef salt. Sorry. There's no such thing as beef salt. You're doing the recommended 10-day strict beef, salt, and water and lost 4 pounds in 2 days. It's amazing. I mean, I bet a lot of that's inflammation because your body is just like, can relax because nothing is being an intake. No sides with the chicken. No. I just put like 2 of those on each person's plate, and mustard sometimes for those of us that eat mustard. Is there any reason to not eat ground beef only? No, you can eat only ground beef, and that's totally fine. Okay to eat pork rinds every day? Yeah, I think that's fine. Probably not the most high nutrition, but if you want to eat some every day, I really don't think that's going to be a problem. Yeah, fasting is amazing. I've never gone, I think I got to, I don't know, like 60 hours. I don't think I've gotten past the 72. Maybe I got to 80 hours and I didn't get to the 100. I don't know, but fasting is really amazing, and it's free, and you can start anytime. Like all of this stuff is like chicken thighs are cheap and ground beef is cheap. This is stuff that we don't have to overcomplicate it. Like people say, like we're engineering ourselves out of good health by trying to make this like, oh, this many of this vegetable and this many of that vegetable. Good job doing a 10-day fast. I'm super impressed. So yeah, eating, making sure you're eating enough is definitely, and then if you need to loosen up your standards, like if you're avoiding dairy and you're avoiding seasonings and you're avoiding all of this, then just loosen it up a little bit. The only time that it's really important to be super strict and do like beef, like grass-fed beef and salt and water carnivore is if you're going to say it doesn't work. So I would say that's like the only time that you need to be that strict is before you say like the carnivore diet doesn't work. Go ahead and make it more strict, maybe give it a longer time to do it. But if you're struggling and it's taking a lot of mental energy, just kind of baby step it up a little bit instead of trying to go to the most strict version right off the bat. So you guys have seen that I have all of the different versions in here, and we start with meat and salt, but then way at the back, it's really pretty liberal. We have seasonings and like mushrooms and stuff. Epic pork rinds with liver pate, that's like my favorite. Grass-fed beef is definitely preferred, but all beef is grass-fed. Like we're in Montana, like I see the cows on grass all the time. And then some of them are grain supplemented to finish. And so the last thing I wanted to talk about, or no, I've got road trips and I've got organs. Let's do organs real quick. And so liver is something, it's an acquired taste, but so is coffee and so is beer. And we have acquired that taste just fine. It's something that a lot of people thrive without doing liver. And I understand that. I do not. And so I would say that if carnivore, if you're feeling tired, then I also have to supplement lemon juice. And so I just like squeeze a lemon into my water a couple times a week, or I start bruising really easily. And it might just be the way my body is not uptaking iron for whatever reason. But a lot of people do carnivore without supplementing vitamin C at all. That's just the way I do it. Same thing with liver is if I don't get liver a few times a month, I get so tired and like cranky. And so if you're tired and cranky on carnivore, and this is something that I've done even if I was eating carbs or on keto, I would definitely recommend, and I have a link to the liver, and there's liver pate, and it's really mild tasting. It's like mixed with a lot of butter or a lot of fat. Or you can also get these cod livers, and these like, they taste like pudding. It's like the same consistency as pudding. They're almost sweet. They're in oil that you can reserve, and that's like super fresh, wild caught, pure cod liver oil. It's super good for you. It's got the omega-3s, which definitely keeps the your inflammation down as well. Then heart, someone asked earlier, and it was a good question, is heart considered an organ meat because it is just a muscle? And that's true. It is high in CoQ10, which is actually good for your heart. And it sounds like overly simplistic, but really the nutrients that you need to heal a certain part in your body, which a lot of us, I think that might be why liver is such a health food that's promoted in America, is because we have so many toxins around us. Our livers need a little bit of an extra boost. So eating liver helps that. But really anything that you need help with, like getting over postpartum and my placenta encapsulated, and this is probably going to weird you guys out, but this was, I don't know, my baby's 5 now, and like the recovery, having that placenta encapsulated versus not with the other two, night and day difference of childbirth recovery. And there's like certain, and we talk about it in here, no, I don't remember where, and I'm probably not going to be able to find it, where it's eat it to heal it. Just a little, yeah, here it is. It's in the meat and eggs section. And there's like, I linked to studies down below, and it says that like if you eat brain, it's high in this particular tiny little micronutrient that's not found anywhere else. And it's really good for your brain and like nerves. And so if brain and nerves is a problem for you, it might be worth it to go source some brain. I have not found brain yet, but I'm on the lookout for it. If I find it from a reputable source, I would definitely want to try it. Yeah, my kids I don't know, I missed that comment, but do kids like eating liver? Yeah, my kids' first food is liver. So my 2 boys are my second and third. And I gave them beef liver even, which is really strong tasting, with just sea salt as their first foods. And like, they loved it. Like they would cheer. And I did this for my friends' kids too. So it's not like I have some genetic abnormality. So like any friends that I had that had little babies, my kids' age, I'd be like, can I try giving a liver? And they all know that I'm weird like that. And so they're just like, yeah, sure. Like he's not going to like it, but try it. And so like even kids that had started on bananas and sweet stuff, they still love the liver. I think it's something that as we, like kids go into like the more separating from their, just instincts around like 2 and 3, and they stop liking it so much, but little babies love liver. How do I cook heart? I link down below. So I cook it in the Instant Pot, and I have a recipe for that. I can do it on video sometime too. Except for my Instant Pot's loud, so I'm not going to do it on live video. You can search on my site, healthhomeandhappiness.com, for heart, and it'll be there too if I did forget to put it there. Yeah, I totally watch water fast videos. I like YouTube now. I never watched YouTube until I did carnivore, but that seems to be where all the information is. So definitely you don't have to do organ meat. If you're thriving without organ meat, like that's fine. That you definitely don't need to do it. If you're not thriving, I definitely would give it a try. Then the last thing we're going to cover, and then we'll have a little bit more Q&A, though I have been able. Where did I get cod liver? Cod liver. This is from Amazon. I think I got like 10 of them at a time. And it's a lot. Like this is probably 600 calories or something. So I'll eat the livers over like with pork rinds usually. I'll just spread them on pork rinds and over 2 different meals. And then the oil lasts for a while. So then packing for lunches and road trips. Hot dogs and thermoses. We talked about packing lunches last time. And so thermoses can keep stuff warm for quite a while. So if you're only gone for 24 hours, then that works. If you're gone for longer than 24 hours, I'm guessing you have a place to heat stuff up. And so just packing in like those glass containers with the snap lids. I have one right here. So this is what we used to come. Now we live in Livingston, but we used to come to Livingston for like 2 nights all winter. And I would pack this full of meat. And so just shredded meat with some tallow on it, or like meatballs or a variety of stuff. And then I just reheat it. And I do use the microwave. And I have not seen a difference in the microwave versus not. So just packing your food. And because it's carnivore, like I'm surprised at how little space I'm taking up in my fridge now. Like all the meat that we're all going to eat over the next couple days fits in my produce drawer, like what used to be my veggie drawer. Using anchovies for flavor, definitely. That's a great way to mix things up. Red Boat has a fish sauce that's just anchovies and salt and water. And you can totally use that. It has that umami flavor. Can you cook with the cod liver oil? I wouldn't. I'd use like a more stable fat for that. I would just like, you want to preserve the omega-3s. You probably could if you wanted to. What brand do I use? I use Greener Pastures, which is fermented, and there's been like tons of controversy about it. But my kids craved that Greener Pastures cod liver oil when they were little. So I don't really think it's that bad. But now I just use the oil that's from these because I eat this like I eat the livers, and then I save the oils. Tallow. You don't have to use that. Like use ghee if you need clarified butter, or use butter. I'm not sure if it might be an acquired taste, probably. So hot dogs and thermoses, packing meat in one of those and heating it up. Chaffles that we made in the last workshop are great to pack with you. And I'll make like 10 of them at a time, and I'll just stick them in the fridge. And you can put them in a toaster. So if you're not like have to avoid any trace of gluten, you can just use someone's toaster to heat those back up. Heart is good cold. Heart tastes like lunch meat. So once you make your heart in the Instant Pot, which I want you guys to all try, it's really mild tasting. It tastes like lunch meat, and it's really good cold. So I'll slice it really thin. And if you're eating cheese, heart with cheese is really good. Lunch meat, if you go to the counter and they have Applegate and the big things that they use on the meat slicer, then Applegate is a great meat. Their roasted turkey is just roasted turkey, salt, and water, I'm pretty sure. How much cod liver oil do I take per day or week? I don't take it consistently. I take it if I'm feeling grumpy and I think I need the vitamin D. It's a great source of vitamin D. Tongue, I'm not sure. I mean, I guess it's an organ meat. It's usually thrown away. But yeah, so just like I cook that in my Instant Pot too. Just cover the whole thing in water. My friend Teresa told me how to make this. Cover the whole thing in water. Like don't peel it first. And then cook it under high pressure for like 90 minutes. Chicken hearts or beef hearts, they're both good. I just get whatever's cheap, whatever you can find. Like I like cruising the meat section of all the grocery stores and looking for what's grass-fed and marked down, or looking at the local butcher shops and seeing what's grass-fed and marked down. Do I supplement with collagen? I don't, unless I start getting hangnails. And then it's just me telling me my body's not absorbing as much protein as it should. And collagen always clears it right up. Ryan will get nosebleeds, and then he supplements. So I supplement. I put it in his water or his like Gatorade Zero that he takes, and then he stops getting nosebleeds. So I supplement with collagen like it's a supplement, not like it's a food. I totally burnt the cheesy things. You want to see them though? They're bad. They do like they are this texture though. They're a little softer if you set a timer and you don't forget about them. But like the pepperoni gets hard, and then this is a little bit soft in the middle and crisper on the outside. I'll do a video where I can pay attention to the video and what I'm cooking. I can do that this week because I like those. They're really good and they're really simple, and the kids love them. Let's see. Glycine, is that like the sweet stuff they're getting from meat? I would say that's highly processed if that's what it is. I've never tried it. If like it's between you using sugar and glycine, I guess use glycine on carnivore, but I don't think I would recommend it. It's naturally sweet. Is it just an amino acid that's sweet? Because some of them are sweet. We were talking about that in depression earlier. And you can open up. So if you're taking a supplement, you can get your digestion going. It's best to open it up and put it on your tongue, because then like your taste receptors are part of your digestive system. So as much as we can, not bypassing our tongue and our taste receptors with capsules is ideal, unless it's like a time release medication, and then that doesn't apply. The recipe for cheese sauce, I was gonna make that and I don't have time, and I've figured out that I can't cook on live videos very well. So I have all the ingredients out. I'll do like that much of cheese and shred it. So it's like once you shred cheese, that's a pretty good amount. And a block of cream cheese. And so I'll put the block of cream cheese in the stock pot or like a little saucepan. So I'll put it in there without the wrapper. And then I'll cover it so like the whole thing's covered in cream. And then I heat it up over low heat, like number 3 on my scale or on my stove. And then like pinch by pinch, I'll add that cheese and whisk as I do it. And it makes it nice and thick, and there's no eggs. I have an egg-free kid. There's no eggs. It's just cheese. I could do that on video too, on real video, not live video. So yeah, and then using like cheese sauce is a great way to keep things interesting. We had when I have tri-tip that I grilled, and then just the cheese sauce over the top keeps things interesting. Different textures, like add some pork rinds in, add some muscle meat. Heart is a great variety of muscle meat, and just different textures keep things interesting. People that have been carnivore a long time, it's like your body just adjusts to crave meat, and it's thinks that any other food is not superior. So yeah, the cheese sauce, it is super good. And you can like drizzle it over pork rinds for nachos. It's amazing. I cook heart in the Instant Pot. I have it written down. I look on my own blog for my recipes. I think it's 60 minutes. It's quite a while. Good job, Mia. 3rd week at Carnivore. Bags under their eyes on Carnivore. Yeah, Dr. Berg. Okay, so I like Dr. Berg. I've learned that you have to check his sources. So he'll say a study says something, and that's not what that study says. In general, I really like the guy, but I don't think it's from too much meat. I get dark circles under my eyes from dairy and sugar. If I'm like completely dairy free for like 10 days, then like the bags will go. So I'll just hold it open a couple more minutes for Q&A, but I think we're mostly done. Thank you for joining me today. It's good to see you. I know that, yeah, that cheese sauce is good. Just heal your gut, and then you can handle dairy, Jeff. Too much cream in your coffee. It depends on what you're trying to go for. If you're trying for weight loss, you want to measure your cream, because it's super easy to like go through a whole pint of cream, which is like, I don't know, probably over 1,000 calories in a couple days. If you're drinking a cup of milk with an espresso, no, I mean, I think that's fine if it's whole milk. And if it fits into like your goals as far as how many calories you're eating, which calories aren't the be all end all, but like they're a good guideline to follow. Oh, bags under your eyes. Yeah. I don't know. I feel like a lot of times it is dairy. For me, it's dairy. If you haven't tried, see, it's good to just like, to go off dairy for 2 weeks and see what your baseline is, eating just meat or meat and eggs. And then like you can just be curious about it and be like, oh, well, that's why I get bags under my eyes. That's an interesting phenomenon. Like I wonder what else will I notice when I introduce dairy again. And so it's kind of like you don't have to, it's not, I'm not saying you can never eat dairy because it gives you bags under your eyes. Like it doesn't really affect me or probably you all that much if you get bags under your eyes. Would I recommend carnivore for a 12-year-old boy? I don't put my kids on carnivore. My son, as a toddler, my middle kid, he was naturally almost completely carnivore for like over a year. And he ate some like sauerkraut and stuff, but he did fine. I hesitate to take all like the ferments and stuff away. My kids are on meat heavy keto though. I would definitely, if he wants to, I think keto, because it does curb the sugar cravings quite a bit and it like evens their mental state out and the sugar high and lows. Keto is great for kids. How much proteins and fat for weight loss? That's going to be individual. I do best on 80% of my calories coming from about 80% coming from fat, which is high fat. That's like adding fat to everything. Thanks for being here. I'm super happy you guys are here. Other people find they lose weight when they do a higher protein and a lower fat. And so I would just experiment like 10 days at a time and see what it does for you. But keep in mind those whooshes and those fluctuations that come with your hormones, and don't attribute just something that would have happened anyway on that timeline to whatever you're doing at the time. And so it helps to not like try and follow this like it's a science or it's a math equation, but more just be curious. Like, I wonder how I'll feel if I do this for 10 days. Why whole milk and not skim or fat free? Ooh, yeah, no, don't drink fat free milk. You need those fats. Like our brains are made of fat. Our body's made of fat. It's closer to like raw milk is ideal if you're going to drink milk. If you can't get raw milk that has like the cream on the top, then whole milk is going to be closer. This is my shirt for all of our workshops this week or this month. Can you have pickles? You can, but that makes you keto. But you're welcome to have pickles if you want them. But if you want to be carnivore plus pickles, I really don't think you're going to negate all of the carnivore diet. Perfect, Lorena. Oh, the raspberry fat bombs or the strawberry ones and the lemon ones on my site are super good. Yeah, thank you guys for helping me out with the skim milk. I'm like, oh, I don't even know how to answer that. That should know. But yeah, no, embrace the cream. It was something I was raised on non-fat milk. It was something I had to get used to. It was like weird in my mouth. But yeah, no, now I love the fat. All right, well, the replay of this will be up. So if you guys came in a little bit late, thank you so much for joining me. We will do one more of these in this month's Carnivore Challenge. And then I've gotten so many awesome emails and like notes from you guys that you're losing like 10, 15 pounds just switching to carnivore from seeing my videos. We're going to go ahead and do another Carnivore Challenge in October. And it'll do the same thing, just the 1st to the 28th. And of course you can go through, like you don't have to stop on the 28th, but just if you can get those 4 weeks, I feel like that 4-week is attainable. So we'll be doing this again in October. So I will do one more live workshop next week, and we're going to talk about why the carnivore diet works. And I am looking forward to seeing you again. And if you want to join again in October and you're getting my emails, just reply to one of those emails when it gets closer to October, and I'll reset it for you so that you can get them over again. So thank you guys. I super appreciate you all being here. I will see you back next week.